Good. Yeah, here we go. We're going live across several platforms right now. So you should see us appearing if you are watching this live. Yeah, let's check this out. Yeah, it says we're live on Facebook. We're going live across YouTube. We're going live on LinkedIn. And later we'll be putting this across 36 different podcasts. So it doesn't matter if you missed it. If you miss it on the live version right here. Yeah, but what I'm going to do is, first of all, before I introduce an absolute world-class action taker of a guest tonight, I'm going to start tagging some of the people, yeah, which I'm going to suggest anybody who's on here watching right now, you start tagging and you share this post, being with a chance to get yourself into a free community that's going to have the best training, best coaching, best mentoring, the best, accountability, all the power team members, brokers, solicitors, architects, builders, you freaking name it, get it for free forever. Yeah, that's what's coming to disrupt this industry. But you got to hit the share button, let us know. Also, tag at least 10 people and let us know you've done that. And yeah, once you start commenting, we'll see which platform you're on. So, Rhys.
Yes.
Mr. Rhys. Yeah, absolute action taker right now, streaming in from Dubai. So even with building your businesses, your property entrepreneur journey, you are also fitting in the travel. Because didn't you just travel earlier this year as well? Was it this year or back in the last year?
Yeah, back end of December into January. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. So Rhys is now on its way to build a multi-million pound property portfolio. But first of all, just introduce, who is Rhys? Like, what did you do growing up? What led you to the point where you say, right, property is something I want to start developing?
Yeah, good question. So grew up in Southeast London. In terms of where the passion for property came from, it sort of developed at first when I was playing Monopoly young with the family and stuff. Like the concept of real estate and property just always interested me. And then growing up, seeing, big developments happening, I always wanted tours on the other side of it. Then when I was at university, me and like three of my friends, we stayed in like a typical terraced house. It wasn't like a licensed student HMO or anything. It was just a bog standard house. And then I looked at like the tenancy contract and I saw how much the landlord was basically taking home as a result of all of us paying him. It was like 20 grand or something, and we weren't even there for the full year. So then after that, my mind basically just started to think, how can I end up on the other side of this power dynamic? And then I just dedicated everything I knew, like all my resources, energy into putting myself in a position to basically just buy a house as soon as I graduated. So
That
then,
is so cool. That is proper inquisitive. That is,
yeah,
reading that. Not many people are going to be doing that. Reading the ASTs, kind of working it out, reverse engineering. What is this guy making? That is brilliant. Yeah. So, like, how was it that you were able to, like, what did you do? Save up? Like, how did you buy the first property, and what strategy was that?
yeah, good question. So it was me saving up student loans. So I got that. I got a bursary as well. Pretty much just saved it. I was working in a warehouse for the period of first year. After my first year at uni, I was working in warehouse, just doing crazy shifts, saving that as well. You could almost say like I struck a bit of luck with crypto as well. So before everybody, like their mom and their dad, was involved in like the crypto space, I was in it, and then it just took off. I basically took my profits from that. I started like investing in different watches and stuff, and then pretty much I sold those off to get involved in my first house, pretty much.
So, like a modern day Del Boy. You know who Del Boy is?
Nah,
You don't know who Del Boy is? Oh
yeah,
my! I
like
forget.
a wheeler and dealer or something.
I forget how young you are. You search for Del Boy, Only Fools and Horses after this. Yeah.
Yeah.
But let me know in the comments, yeah, if anybody knows who or remembers who Del Boy is, yeah. Yeah, funny guy. So okay, so basically you kind of just use the wheeling and dealing method, get pulling it all together to get the first. And so what was the aim of that property like, first of all?
The aim of it was to get stuck in, really, because I was doing a lot of, I'm very analytical. I was doing a lot of like researching and looking up different methods of getting involved in property, but nothing really, everything on the internet seemed too surface level. then it got to a point where I thought, if I want to take my knowledge to the next level, let me just get involved, because then I wasn't too familiar with the concept of, like, investing in education, mentors and stuff like that. Like, I thought was a myth. So I just said, cool, let me just learn by doing. So I just not physically went into auction, but I searched up a house. It just happened to be sold by method of auction. And then when you're like new into something, you've got like that raw confidence of you can just take on absolutely anything. So I didn't go in with any like scars or pain of auction could go wrong or whatever. I just did it thinking, okay, let me just buy a house, do it up, and then sell it on. But then things didn't work out exactly like that. And that's how I ended up coming into investing into education and mentorship and stuff like that, because of all of the difficult lessons that I didn't have to endure with that purchase.
Yeah. And that's something. And I suppose because there is a lot of trash out there, yeah, that people claim to be or can do or can offer or whatever. So then it makes it difficult, for people to probably trust in it. But like, you heard me say it before, either way, you're gonna pay. And it's like either you pay to get the right coach, training, mentorship, guidance in whatever way, shape, or form somebody wants, or you're going to pay through either time, you're going to pay through taking the hits, you're going to pay because you made massive mistakes. I know someone very close who actually knows who I am and knows who real life is, said that, I've got this other property, group that I'm a part of, so I don't want to invest in something else. And they were about 60K down on their deal, just because of some simple things that were not covered, or they didn't ask, or they didn't get the right guidance. So like either way you're gonna pay. And some people, they think, but I've been investing in property 20 years and you can't do it like this and you can't do it like that. So I mean, those people, they paid 20 years of their life or property career or whatever to still only just be doing it the basic ways. So what was the strategy of that first house when you first do it? You wanted to buy it and sell it on, but you still own that now?
Yeah, still own it. So the original strategy wasn't even to buy and sell on. The original one was to buy and then turn it into a student HMO. But then through the purchase, I found out that Leicester was an Article 4 area.
Oh, wow. So you purchased it already, wanting to do it, and then after you purchased, you found out like, oh, how? Okay, Article 4 might block me here.
Exactly that, yeah.
Wow, that was insane.
It changed from me wanting to do like a BRRR HMO to me essentially just flipping it, buying and flipping. And then the flipping model, it made sense because I'm pretty much in and out. I get to pull out all of my capital plus the profit to reinvest into the next one. So I wasn't too fussed with me not being able to go with the original exit. But then upon completion of the refurb, when I listed it, it sold within a couple of days for more than I even wanted to sell it for. But when we were going through the conveyancing process, what happened was the buyers, they naturally had to get a survey done. Now, when they got the survey done, the person that did the survey came out to the house and he was just ripping into me. He was saying, who the hell developed this house? This is wrong, da, 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 and whatnot. But because I was just a raw novice, so I kind of let the builders take control of the refurb. And then they pretty much took advantage of my naivety in the sense of they cut corners where they shouldn't have. And then that ended up costing me the sell. And bearing in mind, I took out a bridging loan as well. So I think at that point I had maybe 4 months, 5 months left on the bridging loan. So I had two options: to either risk selling it again for it to potentially fall through again, because 1 in 3 households fall through, or I could just refinance and keep it. So then I chanced it with another sell. It sold again, like I think 2 weeks after it going live on the market. But then about a week into the second person putting in his offer, he went around to view it again and then rescinded his offer, saying, actually, no, like I want to buy a house and develop it myself, just to make sure that I know exactly what's been done. So at that stage, I was just left with one option: to refinance and keep it. And then when I tried to get like a traditional buy-to-let mortgage from I guess like your high street lenders, none of them were willing to take me on because at the time I think I was 21 still, either 21 or just turned 22. First time landlord, not in like full time employment, so no lender wanted to touch me with a 10 feet pole. So then that just left me in a position where I couldn't really sell it. I couldn't refinance as well. But then my mum, she basically just said, okay, like you've got this house, you've got all the equity in there and stuff. Why don't you basically bring one of us on as basically like an owner, because we're mortgageable, like we own properties. So then the only hit I had to take was paying stamp duty again on the difference, and then that worked.
Nice. So then you was able to get the refinance, and you still own that today, yeah? Am I
Yeah.
correct? You turn it into SA now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So beautiful. Yeah, getting some high cash flow. So just explain to the people, because I know how you actually now, you built. I think you got projects going on. Is it true when they're done, it's going to be like over 1 million?
Yeah, the two combined should be about 900,000.
Yeah, 900,000 that you're doing, and obviously you already have this one straight out of uni. That's amazing. That's why action takers. I love working with action takers. Rhys, you listen, you ask questions, then you actually act on advice that's given to you. Yeah. So if there's anybody listening out there watching this, like basically that's what you got to do. Like you got to be willing to take action, ask questions to get the right guidance, but then act on it. Because some people, they ask questions for the sake of it, but don't do anything about it. Yeah. So just going back to this then. So just tell us, how did you then also leverage this now property that was, or used to be a problem, to help you even start funding and build this £1 million portfolio?
Yeah, so in a nutshell, I had about like 120 grand worth of equity inside of the property. And then with one of the most recent purchases, I just had a conversation with my broker, like, look, I've got a bunch of equity in this house. Can I basically use it to put as like a deposit almost on another house? And she's like, yeah. So that's what we did. I did that, and then I just raised investor money for the rest, like to fund the builder deposit, to fund the rest of the deposit that we needed to.
Oh, he's in Dubai. They cut him off probably. Yeah, so I'm sure he'll be back soon. Yeah, so what's awesome about Rhys, yeah, here in terms of leveraging another property, he's getting creative. Yeah, so let me know in the comments if you guys have got any questions here. Yeah, if you got any questions about like how to get started. I don't have any money. There's no way I could do it. I mean, I built the first £6 million on my portfolio using zero of my own money. And then I still am using other people's money today. Yeah, here's Rhys logging back in right now. Yeah, all good. You're back in. Yeah, so just carry on. Yeah, just carry on.
Yeah, so I got to, which part did I get to? Yeah, so pretty much raised investor money for the rest of it, and used the equity that I had as part of the deposit as well.
Yeah, so as I was just saying to people who are listening or watching here, it's like, lack of creativity, yeah, like is what holds people back. They think it's like the lack of money, but there's never a lack of money. There's only a lack of creativity. Yeah, and being able to leverage equity in other properties, being able to leverage joint venture partners, other investors, people who've got money in the bank. And sometimes they just want total hands off. Sometimes they're interested, they're like, oh, can I shadow? Can I learn? I've done this whole spin of earn and learn over the years, and now everybody's doing it. And I think it's useful for people to get to know, like, there is a different way to build wealth. Yeah. So tell us about some of these other two properties. Like, how did you come across to find them? How did you know that they were the right deal, and obviously get them to the place where they're now in refurb?
Yeah. Good question again. So one of them was I literally just bought it off a sourcer because I had investors ready and I couldn't be bothered like trying to filter through different deals, getting offers accepted, rejected, etc. So one I bought off a sourcer. The next one, whilst we we're going through the purchase of this particular house, one of the things that we had to do was serve the neighboring property like a party wall agreement. So in doing that, I tried to obviously knock on the next door, and it just didn't really seem like anyone lived there. So I found out who the landlord was, went to their house, and then just left a note on their door, basically just saying, hey, I'm buying next door. Give me a call when you can. So he called me, had a conversation with his son, and then he just said, look, you might as well just buy next door as well. So then they gave it to me at a £12,000 discount.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for the next one.
Yeah, that is so good. And like people then miss this, yeah. They miss the opportunity, like especially if like a certain house is a certain floor plan, let's say, and then obviously you come up with the designs, you do all the work, the effort to make it happen. You know, like the more streets in the house you know, more houses in the street that you can do now, the better. You know, and it's easy to just make friends with neighbors, but it's also easy not to make friends with the neighbors. Yeah, so for all these people, Rhys, are like wanting to get involved, but like they might be like think, oh wow, Rhys had to overcome a lot of challenges and that. Like, what advice would you give people who are like, you know, should they do it? You know, should they not do it? Like, what's your advice around that?
I would just say make a decision very quickly, because as much as you'll progress doing things, you're also costing yourself by not taking action at the same time, but you're just not really consciously aware of the progress that you're not making. So the sooner you come to a decision and just commit to something, the more you're inevitably gonna progress. So that's why I'd say just make a decision fast and just go all in.
I mean, listen, what you've just said there, I think is much deeper than what people might realize. Yeah. Is like you just said, like, when you're not doing it, you don't realize how much you're not progressing. That's basically what I just took from what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you're not doing it, you don't realize how much progress you didn't make, because obviously there's nothing to compare it to. Yeah, and why that resonates with me is because, you know, I've gone through, you know, sometimes doing 4, 5, 6 projects at a time, to sometimes even 14, 15 projects at one time, to then, you know, back to just 2 or 3 or 4 again. And I'm like, so like I've seen, oh wow, like what can the progress be when I'm either doing it versus not doing it. But someone who's not started yet, you don't know how much you're actually not doing, because you've never been in the game and doing it. So, you know, what you hear from, I don't know, wherever you're hearing it from, what are some of the biggest things that stop people, and like what should people consider in those areas?
Some of the things that stop people, needing to like know it all, so that almost wraps in with like analysis paralysis. So that's one thing. Fear is always going to be like a blocker for people, whether they're conscious of it or not. What else would I say?
So what
Yeah, those are the two main ones that come to mind.
So what can people do about that? Because like it's easy to say, oh, just take action and all the rest of it and overcome the fear. But like, what is it, Reese, that people can really do when it's like, okay, I have this need where I want to, or I think I need to know everything, or know all the steps, or know all the possibilities, but like I'm never going to figure that out until I start. Like, what is it that can? I mean, you just went out the blocks, like you said, you didn't have any of the hits to be like, oh, I don't know what can go wrong. But what about if someone has had that in life? Do you have any advice for them of how they might be able to get themselves back in the game?
Yeah. So this is actually even something that you told me as well. One time I was messaging you about, I don't know, I think I was facing some type of obstacle or something, and then one of the things that you said to me was to reminisce or think of a time where you basically did the thing that you don't think you can do. So in this context, this dwell on a time where you've taken action, where you haven't necessarily known everything, and you've just made things work. So I'd encourage people to think about that. Like, think of a time where they've just done something and it's gone right, because we're naturally conditioned to think that everything is going to go wrong. So I would just say, think about a time you've done something and it's just worked. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, that's what I'd say to try and overcome it.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like, I think no matter how old you are, whether people are the same age as you know, starting out or starting to take the action at 21, 22, 23 years old, whether they're 33, 43, 53, or whatever, you know, it's like, I think people need to watch Rhys here and say, listen, what an inspiration. You know, if you can do it straight out of uni, yeah, and actually become, and just use simple like read an AST from a contract where you're staying in the own thing. I mean, it's so simple when it's said, but like how many people won't do that, don't do that, not have the foresight or the vision or the curiosity to do it? You know, where do you think that comes from inside of you, Rhys?
I've just always been naturally just curious and inquisitive, like from since early childhood.
Yeah. So if there's anyone out there who is, you know, curious, they always want to find stuff out, they like asking a lot of questions, they want to know stuff, they want to know behind the scenes or what's going on, like what are some steps that you would give them to actually get them moving in the right direction for finding what they want to do in life or start building a property business?
The first thing I'd say is tap in almost with what it is that you want to do. So get clear on your goals and your vision. And then once you're clear on that, use the curiosity to your advantage, because as easy as it can be a strength, it can be an anchor and a hindrance almost, because you're more likely to get trapped in just over analyzing. So I'd say it's difficult to try and articulate. I was going to say, like, once you know enough or once you have enough information to act upon, just get something done. But to make it easier, I'd literally just say find like one piece of information out and then just act on it. Like, don't try and make sense of it. Just do something, and then from doing, you'll pretty much uncover the next step.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, for sure. So you got quite a good presence online, and I've seen some phrases, and we've talked about it before. Yeah, and I even seen you with a t-shirt saying "Stop lying on social media."
Yeah.
Yeah, just tell us, what's that about?
It's actually one of my friends. He had like a clothing brand, and then I think one time, I don't know, someone that we both knew was just lying on social media. Then that phrase and the slogan just stuck in his mind, and then just decided to make it a t-shirt. Like, just stop lying on social media. Yeah, that's how it came about.
Yeah. Yeah, so obviously, because you've got a good online presence, you understand social media, you understand, you know, what's you know happening on that kind of these platforms or these mediums. What advice can you give people? Because I know sometimes people might watch what other people are saying, and some people, or probably a lot of people, are making out that they're better than they are. They're only showing, you know, the good stuff. Um, you know, it's and basically like people look at this stuff and it makes them feel bad about not achieving, or you know, it doesn't give them like a fair comparison. You know what I mean? You know, do you understand where I'm coming from? Like, what advice would you have for people who are like, if they are on social media and they're looking at it, to actually use it as an advantage and not have it as a disadvantage?
The first thing I'd say is become a creator, not a consumer. So even with me, like, I don't really spend a lot of time on social media. I just post and go. So that's the first thing. And then it's just remembering and realizing that, social media is kind of like a job CV almost. Like, you're not really going to talk about where you're lacking, your weaknesses, the bad things, etc. And I think that's what played partly in my virality, and the content for me that's done the best have been where I started talking about like negative things that I was experiencing.
Mm.
So yeah, what I'd literally just say is, so become a creator, not a consumer, and then just remember that 99% of what you see is just better than it actually is.
Yeah. And what did you just say? You said something that sounds like it's another t-shirt. Post and go. What did you say?
Post and go. Yeah, post and go.
Use social media, just post and go. It sounds good to me. Yeah, like let's feed some people with some good, authentic, you know, positive content, but also very truthful. Like, hey, look, and this is how to deal with it. This is how to make it happen, and so on. Yeah. So just as we wrap this up, then, Rhys, like, what like final words would you have for anyone who's either similar to you or going to be watching or listening to this and be like, oh yeah, I want to do something, you know, different in my life?
I would say just commit to something, and go all in. Naturally, you're gonna have the fear still, like you're gonna have the part of your brain that tells you, oh, maybe you should reconsider this, or maybe you should, like, you know, take things slow or whatever. Just commit, go all in, and just don't look back. Take action first, and ask questions later. So someone actually said it to me. He was like, just make a mess and then worry about cleaning it up after. You know, everyone's trying to get everything right from day one, and that ultimately is what stops us from moving forward. So just literally just make a mess, and once you've made that mess, worry about cleaning it up after.
Oh, that's what I was doing when I made all of that mess, was it?
Exactly that.
It makes sense to me now. It makes sense to me, but I did it by accident. But
Yeah.
now Rhys is saying, go out there, do it on purpose. I like that, Rhys. I like that. So yeah, brilliant. Yeah. So listen, anybody watching this, yeah, who wants to get started, want the help, yeah, very soon we're going to be launching a free community with better training, better coaching, better mentoring, online training, loads of different things to help assist you, you know, to basically get started. A lot of people have already paid money and not got any results. Yeah, I'm sure Rhys will be back with us to sign off. But, you know, a lot of people pay money already and without getting results. And it's like, look, get into this community. Put the word free right now. Put the word free if you want into this community. We're sending the message as soon as it's available, so you can get in there, be the first people to start, you know, consuming, you know, proper content that's actually going to help you. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube here and there, and it's nice, and people got, you know, hundreds of thousands of subscribers and so on. Yeah, but what is not there is like the order to do stuff in. What's the system? What's the process? Where do I go first? A lot of it is just great, you know, stuff that goes viral because it sounds good and all the rest of it. So if you want it, put the word free or DM me free, and we're going to get you on the short list for the first people once we go live. Can you hear us, Rhys?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I don't know if you can see me.
Yeah, no, the picture's not there. The picture's not there. But at least you're here to sign off. I just want to say appreciate you coming on. And I know you got that schedule. You know, you're all over the place. You come back to the UK tomorrow, but you're still in Dubai. So congratulations on all your travel and everything. But yeah, awesome. You're an inspiration to many people, especially the young people out there who are sitting there messing around like I was when I was 21, 22.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great job. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Hit the share button, tag at least 10 people. And till next time, do the right thing for the right reason, because it's the only way you discover your true potential.
Nice one. See you.